The summer's heating up and it's making me look more toasty, but that's not the only thing that's heating up. This weekend is going to be a big week for gaming. Today is the PlayStation State of Play, and this weekend will be the Summer Game Fest. And also we have a main story how Xbox might not be making a handheld anytime soon. Before we get into our main story of Xbox and its handheld, I really want to get into some of the games that PlayStation announced today and I want to give you my thoughts of what, like, if it was a good state of play or not. And to be honest with you, this state of play wasn't lacking any exclusive games. It was lacking PlayStation first party games. There was some great third party announcements of some classics like Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection coming to the PS5 and PS4. It's going to be Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 in its classic 90s, I think, glory of these games. I hated these games when I was a kid, but to be honest with you, they're classics and they're really good. The only reason I hated them is because I was really bad at them. They also announced Teased VR, which for people who love VR games, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a really good game. Stealing stuff in VR, who doesn't want that? And the game that keeps on giving the Game of the Year, Astro is going to add 5 new worlds called Vicious Voids, and like, give it up for Astrobot. This is a $60 game that came out, that won Game of the Year, that's doing great numbers, that sold really well, and is also giving you free DLC. Like, that's not very common in the gaming world. If there's a Game of the Year contender, more than likely you're gonna have to pay extra for that DLC, but not in this case. I think one of my favorite announcements has to be the fact that Metal Gear Delta is coming in like 3 months or 2 months, and I cannot wait for that game to come out. I'm a big Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite Metal Gear, or my favorite game of all time. That game changed my life. And another favorite that I like, because I'm a big fan of Flower, Journey, and all these other kind of like relaxed games. I'm not usually into these type of games, but I love those games. Well, the people that did that art style and did that game and worked on that game is making Sword of Sea, and it's launching August 19th. It's looking like a spiritual successor to Journey, and if you haven't played Journey, especially on your PS5 or your PS4 in HD glory and 1080p and 4K, you need to go back and play that game. It's probably one of the nicest relaxing experiences that I've had in gaming, period. And like I said, they had a little bit of everything for everybody. Final Fantasy Tactics is coming to the PS5 and PS4 on September 30th. I have no idea. In the RPG world, I am completely lost when it comes to JRPGs. The only RPG that I've played recently is Expedition 33, which is, by the way, probably Game of the Year. I would bet like $1,000 that it's going to be Game of the Year. But a lot of people are really excited for it. A lot of people really want this game, and I'm happy for them. Like I said, this PlayStation State of Play kind of had a little bit for everybody, so it good for them, you know what I mean? Pragmata is a game that got announced when the PlayStation 5 first came out, and everybody was kind of interested because, like, it kind of felt like Capcom was kind of doing a Hideo Kojima impression, but like in their own way, and I can't wait to see this. I hope that it's a good game, because it's been in development for the longest time now, and a lot of people thought it was dead, but it is not dead. I look forward to the weird shenanigans that Capcom is going to do with Pragmata, and again, it's coming to PlayStation 5 in 2026. Not an exact date has been released yet, but I look forward to seeing what weirdness this is going to give us. Another game that people absolutely love and has a huge fan base, and rightfully so, is Nioh. Nioh 3 was announced for the PS5. There is no release date of when it's coming out, but if you want to play a demo, it's going to be available today until I think the 18th, around there, or the 15th of June. And so if you want to play that demo and you want to try it out, you want to see what they're going to do with Nioh 3, you can go check that out, which is, I think it's kind of cool, considering the fact that there is no release date. This game already has a limited time demo, which is really cool. I look forward to that. Ghost of Yotei was kind of teased a little bit that there is going to be a gameplay state of play purely for Ghost of Yotei, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that game is going to be like. There's not really much to add to that they just kind of teased it. So like, okay, like, moving on, I guess. I don't think we've had a good 007 in about 20 years. We've had okay ones, but this state of play kind of gave me hope. 007 First Light, Nioh Interactive's James Bond action adventure, and yes, it is in third person. Please, God, stop with the first person James Bond's games. I cannot stand when obviously James Bond is a sneaking spy. You can't really do sneaking properly in first person, and anybody who says any differently, I will fight them. I don't think there is a release date, like a firm release date. It is coming out in 2026. They did release a lot of gameplay, and I hope that this can be a new age of 007 games that do really well, because there's no reason for these games not to be good. Like the 007, like it's video game heaven. Like that's like having like an Indiana Jones IP and not being able to make a good game out of it. There's so many games that do these type of gameplay. There's Hitman. If only you would just reskin it as 007, it would work. And I'm guessing that this is what they're going to do in this one. It's going to be basically like Hitman, but a little bit more action oriented with some stealth thrown in. The way, just to throw a little footnote in there, a lot of these games that I'm talking about are going to be optimized for the PlayStation 5 Pro. So if you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, all the games that I'm mentioning here are more than likely going to have enhancements in pretty lights and like frame rates and stuff like that. So like if you like that kind of thing and you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, they are going to be using PSSR, and they are going to be able to hit 60 frames per second for most of these, or add 4K at 30 frames per second, which in itself is impressive. So this, to be honest with you, is probably one of my favorite announcements of the night, considering that it's the Marvel IP and I'm a huge nerd. Marvel's token Fighting Souls is going to come to the PlayStation 5 and also Epic Games Store and Steam. This is a combination effort, like a culmination effort of PlayStation Studios, Arc Systems Works, and Marvel Games. And if you want to know a couple of games that like Arc Systems has made, they have made the Dragon Ball Z fighters. They've also made a couple of other proper Persona Arena games that people love. The Persona people were just wild in general. But this game looks really fun. There is no release date. The characters are pretty much going to be your basic Marvel characters: Storm, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Magneto, all these others, Captain America, of course, the Hulk. A lot of people are sad because they're like, where's the Marvel vs. Capcom game, man? Where's the sequel to that? And it's like, yeah, like I understand the sadness to that, but at the same time, like I like the fact that PlayStation invested in this game. That's the only reason I think it's going to be console exclusive, is because the PlayStation Studios is working directly with both Arc and Marvel games. So like they're gonna, and PlayStation has had a really close relationship with Marvel for the longest time. So I'm guessing that this is more than likely gonna be a PlayStation exclusive for at least for a year. This is gonna be your traditional 3v3 tag team game. I really wish that it was a 1v1. That's kind of like my thing. I've always been more of a Tekken than a Tekken tag kind of guy. And to be honest with you, I hope that this game is more like Tekken than it is Street Fighter. Even though it kind of gives me a Street Fighter vibe, I really hope that it's not like Street Fighter, but we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to this game. There is not much on this game besides stages and the characters that are going to come out. It's going to have your basic destructibility and transform like the way Dragon Ball Z FighterZ did. Like I said, I'm a huge nerd and I love me some Marvel games, and I can't wait to play this. I want a release date. Basically, with this, there's so much more we can't wait to share with you. So more than likely, this game is coming out in 2026. I would not doubt it that it would be sometime in the fall of 2026. So don't be surprised if this is a long ways away. It looks like this has been in the works for a while, but the thing with fighting games is you have to get everything balanced and fine-tuned, because of the fact they more than likely want this to be a competitive fighting game. It's no mistake that PlayStation bought Evo and has been kind of slithering their way in being the platform that is the fighting centric area that people play. It's either PC or PlayStation, and there's a reason for it. PlayStation has been kind of cornering that market since the PlayStation 1. That was like one of their goals that they wanted to do. And now for our main story, which is kind of sad. Xbox saw the SteamOS and it saw what it can do on other systems compared to Windows. They did a side-by-side comparison of a new hardware device of Legion that they put out, and one is Windows and one is SteamOS. The unfortunate thing for Windows is that Windows has been kind of crappy for the last 5 years in terms of bloat, in terms of software use, in terms of USB, in terms of things crashing. The unfortunate thing is that there's no way that anybody can go to Linux because a lot of these programs only work on easily at least work on Windows. With SteamOS, it works perfectly with games. And the SteamOS was outperforming Windows really bad. And these reports came out on YouTube with a lot of tech YouTubers showing the difference. And to be honest with you, it's a huge difference. SteamOS has been optimized and being used perfectly to not have any bloat, to the point where Windows was like, you know what, that handheld that we were going to make, we're probably not going to do that anytime soon because we need to get our software right. The unfortunate thing is that Microsoft and Windows has been a mess and has had bloat for the longest time, and customers have been telling them that the experience of Windows hasn't been clean and straightforward for the longest time. Windows comes with so much bloat that it affects gaming, and it also affects portable devices even more because of the fact that, there's so much bloat, and this isn't meant to be a device to have all that bloat inside of it. It's not an exaggeration that SteamOS is more than likely scaring the crap out of Microsoft because they've never really been good when it comes to their OSs optimizing their games. This has been something that's been known for the longest time. PlayStation is not a software company. Nintendo is not a software company that makes OSs, but for some reason, PlayStation and Nintendo have always optimized them with either better hardware or inferior hardware when it comes to Nintendo. And it's embarrassing for Microsoft to be in this position in the first place because they wanted to have the mobile market for the longest time. If you remember, Windows had a tablet mode where you could have a mobile version, if you had a tablet, a hybrid of a laptop and a tablet where you could detach it and it turns into tablet mode for Windows. Well, they've had that for the longest time. But unfortunately, that tablet mode is really just for show because it doesn't do anything with performance. It doesn't do anything to improve the game. And it's kind of clunky and not really good when it comes to mobile devices. It's not any secret that Windows has been kind of a mess for the longest time. And especially when it comes to mobile, Windows phones kind of really didn't do much because of the fact that it was crap, and the Windows knows this. And I don't think Microsoft and Xbox can afford to release a handheld and put Xbox Game Pass and damage its reputation even further than being last place with the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S not doing as well as it should be. And unfortunately, I think it is a good decision by Microsoft to step back to try to maybe make a mobile version to compete with SteamOS, or to try to come back and regroup and maybe partner with SteamOS to be on their platform. This was already in the talks in the first place, but I think this is going to further it along because I don't think that Windows can catch up with SteamOS at the moment when it comes to gaming because of the fact, I don't think that Microsoft is going to put that money aside to be able to basically rebuild Windows from the top to bottom to be able to be less bloat. They're not going to take the bloat out because a lot of the bloat that's in there is their store. A lot of the bloat is their programs. A lot of bloat is just a lot of background stuff that makes Windows work. So I'm not sure how they would even rebuild this in the first place. All I'm saying is that Microsoft and Windows better walk out when it comes to gaming. I take that back. I know that Windows understands that gaming is a huge part of Windows, which is why which is why they try to pander to gamers by giving DirectX or whatever, and trying to make graphics improve. But the last couple 5 years, Microsoft has been dropping the ball when it comes to optimization, and it comes to just having developers make software that is optimized, the games that are optimized for Windows. And we've seen a lot of bad games come out for Windows, and compared to console games that were frames dropped, things are really bad or glitchy, or they just didn't put any effort at all. And the standard for Windows is really low right now in comparison to SteamOS. A lot of games on the Steam Deck work so good, and I can only imagine when they fully release the one that is for PC, where it's basically going to make your PC into a console. I'm sure Windows saw that and was like, we need to take a step back and we can't damage our brand any further, and pretty much put the portable console on pause. And I think that's a smart move because it's more than likely going to damage their reputation and their brand even further than it already is. So I can understand why they canceled it. It's a little sad because Game Pass would be perfect on the go, and who knows, maybe we'll get a native integration into Steam. We do have Nvidia, the Nvidia experience, or the Nvidia streaming platform that is native to the SteamOS. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What did you think of this state of play? And also, what did you think of the main story of Xbox not abandoning, but postponing their portable endeavors? Let me know what you think. Do you think it was the right decision? Do you think that they kind of wussed out? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, you're pretty good.